I used to have all 10 of these problems myself. Then I read and applied these 10 books. Now I don't have those problems anymore. I still have about 99 problems, but now a book ain't one. So if you have absolutely no idea what you want to do with your life, read The Art of Focus by Dan Koe. What it's going to do for you is help you identify what you don't want your life to look like, what kinds of things you absolutely don't want for your future, and in helping you avoid what you don't want, you'll start to gain clarity and focus and build some momentum towards going after the things that you actually do want. And as you start moving along that path, all of these different avenues and opportunities and options are going to open up for you that you literally could not have seen from your starting position. So, The Art of Focus, an absolutely amazing book. I took pages and pages and pages of notes from this book, and I'll leave them all down in the video description. And if you always find yourself with too much month left at the end of your money, you're going to want to read The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. He wrote The Psychology of Money, which is absolutely amazing. And he's got another very underrated book, as far as I'm concerned. It's called Same as Ever. And I think personally, I think Same as Ever is his best book. And what this book is going to help you do is bring a level of clarity and sanity to your personal finances and your spending. And it'll help you identify what kinds of things that you actually could profitably spend money on that are actually going to move your life in the proper direction. And if your business is not making as much money as you want it to, then drop everything. I'm sure, like, here, drop it. Like, I see you still holding it. Drop it all the way down. Drop everything and read $100 Million Money Models by Alex Hormozy. Alex has made me a stupid amount of cash over the last few years, and what he does especially well is simplify. Not dumb down, but simplify these business concepts that people do overcomplicate because they're trying to make themselves sound smart. Everything here is written at maybe a fourth grade level, fifth grade reading level. Like, it's not difficult. I mean, there are drawings, there are diagrams. It's a picture book that'll help you build a business that just prints money every single day. What it does, what a money model is, it's a business model, a revenue stream, but he breaks them down in such an easily digestible and understandable way that you get it immediately. Like, you read about, different money models and you see immediately how you can apply them to your business, how they would look in your situation. And I'm certainly going to make this a book of the month inside my private business mastermind on School, and that's called Creator Launch Academy. See, this is what I do full time. I just read books all day. I make internet money, and I've been doing this full time for about 3 years now. And with no false modesty, I will just say that I'm pretty damn good at it. Obviously, I'm not at Hormozy levels, but I don't have a boss. Like, there's nobody that I answer to. I make my entire living just from reading great books and talking about them on the internet. And I had that vision for this business, that I built using a very specific, way of going about things, how I do business. And that approach is exactly what I teach inside Creator Launch Academy. I'm not going to hard sell you on that. It may not even be relevant to you, but if you are an educational content creator and you want to make at least $5,000 a month, that's exactly where you want to be. And the link to join the 50 plus other members is the first link in the video description. Now, if you don't have the kind of influence and impact that you want to have on other people in your organization, your professional life, your personal life, whatever, you're going to want to read Take the Wheel by Vlad Sapov. And this book is going to help you become the type of leader that people want to follow. As far as I'm concerned, this is an extremely underrated book so far. I think it's just great. And there's so many fantastic things in here about extreme ownership and taking responsibility, making other people feel seen and listened to and heard. Listening is a big part. An awful lot of leading people is listening to people. And, Vlad gets that for sure. And so you'll find so many tools and mindset shifts and things like that in this book to help you level up your leadership. So, Take the Wheel by Vlad Sapov. And again, all of these books are available at the link in the video description. Now, speaking of influence and impact and income, if you are under recognized, if nobody knows who you are, if you have an obscurity problem, you're going to want to read Wealthy and Well Known by Rory and AJ Vaden. It's one of the better personal branding books that I've ever read. And I've read a lot of great ones. Like, there are some really great books out there that'll help you become positioned properly as an expert, monetize your expertise, and become a key person of influence in your niche, your industry, and what have you. And still, Wealthy and Well Known is one of the best personal branding books that I've ever come across. So it's going to help you turn your reputation into revenue, and it'll help you solve your obscurity problem. Now, if you're scared of public speaking or you just want to become better at it and you want, again, this is another book that'll just help you, become more influential and be able to speak with confidence and poise and power in front of a variety of groups of, various sizes. Read a book like this, you could stand up in front of 10 people or 10,000 people, and you're going to be able to command the room and really get your message across. And I say say that knowing that it might be a little bit of a conflict of interest here because I'm actually written about in this book. Like I'm actually in the pages of this book. Anyway, it's called Billion Dollar Communication Skills by my friend John Brink. And one other thing that's really cool about him is that he's 85 years old now, and he is the oldest competitive bodybuilder in North America. And he's still going out and just hanging those weights around, and he's running a business empire. He's written like 5 or 6 books, and what also makes this hella impressive is that he didn't start off as some like extroverted super charismatic leader. He came to this country around World War II, and he's a Dutch immigrant, spoke zero English, like not a single word when he came to Canada, and he arrived with $25.47 in his pocket, which coincidentally is the price of this book. I thought that was kind of cool. And he had to learn the language from nothing. And he had dyslexia and ADHD. He still does. When he was even somewhat far along in business, he got up to speak in front of a group of other business leaders in town, and he just completely froze, could not utter a single word. And so that's where he's coming from. So he went from there to developing billion dollar communication skills. So this book is really good just for his story and just how he overcome all of those challenges to become a really great public speaker and podcaster and just a positive influence. And I thought that was really cool. And I'm in this book, and I still haven't quite gotten over that because that's cool as hell. We've covered communication skills. Now, if you want to improve your reading skills, you want to read Rise of the Reader by my friend Nick Hutchison. It's a fantastic book for beginners just getting into reading, but I read it, well after I'd read 1,000 books, and I still took a tremendous number of notes from this book. I thought it was just a wonderful book, and one idea especially has stuck with me since I read it. And what Nick says is that knowing that these books can change your life, which they absolutely can. So many of these books have just changed my life immeasurably. So knowing that you have access to these books that will just radically transform, improve, just do so much for you, and you choosing not to read, it's like knowing that you're going to win the lottery and then choosing not to buy a ticket. I thought that was a really cool way of putting it, and I so absolutely agree with what he says. And like I said, it's more kind of beginner friendly, kind of motivating you to begin a reading habit and kind of strengthen it over time. But I read this well into my career, if you will, as a reader, and I still got a tremendous amount of benefit from it. So, Rise of the Reader by Nick Hutchison, really good. And if you want to remember more of what you read, check out a book app that I use all the time now, and it's called Book Genius. I even host a book club on the app that you're welcome to join. And so with Book Genius, you can listen to podcast summaries of all the books and get all the key ideas. You can quiz yourself on the key ideas from each chapter and discuss what you're reading with other book club members. Like I said, I host a book club on the app. I use it every single day to refresh my memory on some of the key ideas and test myself and discover new books. And if you use my link in the video description, you can get 56% off your annual subscription. Now, switching gears here, if you are terrified of dying with lots of regret, you're going to want to read You Only Die Once by Jody Wellman. It's a fantastic book about how to get to the end of your life with no regrets. And getting to the end with no regrets, I don't think that's generally possible. I think it's more or less just hyping it up for the subtitle of this book, but I will not hold it against her because it really is a spectacular book. And I know it is because it actually changed my behavior. Like, as a result of reading this book, I do something different now and have made a series of positive, life affirming changes in my life. And I just thought it was a really great book. And a perfect one to go along with this is The Power of Regret by Daniel Pink. That one's really good too. And if you're a psychology nerd like me, you're going to find tons of extra reading and recommended books to read and things like that in this book as well. So, You Only Die Once by Jody Wellman. You may have heard of The 48 Laws of Power. That's Robert Greene as well. And then a lesser known book is called The 50th Law, again by Robert Greene, and it's co-authored by 50 Cent. I don't know what my expectations were going into that book. I honestly, it was a long time ago. I don't remember, but they were exceeded by leaps and or bounds. I thought it was a spectacular book. I got so much out of it. I actually really, really enjoyed it. And so yeah, The 50th Law. But this one is all about human behavior, human nature, how they think, and how the mask they present to the external world doesn't faithfully represent what's actually going on beneath the surface and like what people are actually thinking, what their motivations are, and what their different psychological triggers and different modes of being. I thought it was a spectacular book and just really underrated. Like everybody talks about the 48 Laws of Power. I don't see many people at all talking about the 50th Law, and very few people I found have read this one as well. All right, so finally, if you're paralyzed by time anxiety, by which I mean the feeling that time is constantly running out always and forever, and that you'll never have time to get to everything that you want to do, and it's constantly slipping away from you, never to return ever in the entire history of the universe and infinity, and you're basically existentially fucked, then you're going to want to read Time Anxiety by Chris Guillebeau. It may not solve this problem for you. I honestly don't think many books, if any, can solve that sort of underlying existential dilemma. But this one gets pretty damn close, and it's actually kind of funny too. It's humorous and light, but it really tackles a significant problem in a lot of people's lives. And out of all of these books, this is probably the one that still weighs on me the most. I'm starting to figure out other people and what they're doing, and my spending is under control and my business is making money, all that stuff. But time and time and regrets and sort of moving towards what's most meaningful and things like that, like the bigger questions, like the smaller questions, like how you get up in front of a room and command an audience's attention. These are so many people have done this before. There's so many like spectacular public speakers, and they've written books that you can read and get better at those things. These problems, like how you live a finite human existence and navigate the entire world in its complexity, I don't think anyone ever really figures that out completely. But that being said, I mean, if you want to get as close as you possibly can and enjoy yourself too while you're actually reading it, read Time Anxiety by Chris Guillebeau. You won't regret it. It's a really good book. So that brings me to the end of this video. Subscribe for more videos like this. And if you're looking for 10 fascinating books that will increase your intelligence, watch this video right here. Happy reading.
I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah.